start again now.
Okay,
so over to Jane.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how in my department there's quite a lot of us. There's about 20 or so of us, different languages, and we use Teams a lot to collaborate and share resources. So if I just show you first of all the department one, so the general one, how do I minimize that? Well, actually, I can put you over there. I've got two screens now.
Oh, so really very good.
I know. Oh, it's just made my life so much easier. So, so this is us collaborating. You know, today we had a meeting, and obviously I've got because I've got my MFL team. The whole team are here. It was very easy to organise that, and these are the kind of things that we're constantly sharing with each other, ideas for teaching. And I don't know if anybody's seen this Scrib.io plays Scribio on Crazy Games. So it's like you play Pictionary. So obviously it's online, so that would be something. I know that's not my brief, of course, but I just thought I would share the kind of thing that we are talking about. Questions, all of those kind of things. So I can constantly keep track, see what's going on, how people are doing. And I think people feel really at ease to put their questions in and to seek help. We also split it up. So we've got, you know, different meetings, individuals, and so on and so forth. So that's like the MFL department, and that also then links to, if I can open it here, that's my important achievement code. I don't know where we share those, Helen, if we share those.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I'll now put that in the Eventbrite follow-up as well to say, please do go for that.
Okay, perfect. So we have an MFL department notebook. So there's this one, we've got our minutes in. So we do all our minutes here, all our important information, and each of the individual departments have their minutes there as well. So everybody has access to that. And then sometimes we have things where colleagues have to, you know, where it's like a virtual thing. Well, I mean, obviously everything is all virtual now, but it's so easy to collate information. Everything goes straight in. This is, you know, it's a kind of go-to place when we want to share information, and if we have to collaborate, we always do it in OneNote. And then, so it's really, I mean, this is a little note, a little warning, because I set this OneNote up not as part of Teams. So that was a mistake that I made. And now I'm going to have to transfer and copy and paste and move everything over to the proper team that I made. So this is the MFL team, which we've had for years. But this OneNote is just I just made a OneNote, which I don't know why I did that, because I just didn't know. Obviously, I started this a few years back now, but now I do know. And so just before this meeting, I created our notebook, our staff notebook. So I now actually have in my MFL department meeting OneNotes, and I should say that this is the 2016 version of OneNote. Is my preferred way, because I'm vintage and I like going this way with my OneNote. I can function in the OneNote for Windows 10, but this is my preferred way. But I'm thinking maybe from next year I'll start being a bit more. I'll start going for the Windows 2010. So
this is Jane. Are you going to show us how to set that up within the team, because that isn't something I don't think we've necessarily covered.
How to set up
the notebook within the team. So
so literally all I did today, when I suddenly realized that what happened was my computer, my Surface, blew up a couple of weeks ago, and I had to get a new one. And once it had blown up and I got a new one, it took me ages to, you know, I had to go online and try and retrieve some notebooks, and some notebooks that maybe other people had started as notebooks in their personal, I don't know, personally in their OneDrive. It meant that I couldn't access them. So now I need to go back. So hoping everybody can learn and to remember to set it up as a team, because with a team, you can transfer the owners really easily. So if I do leave, I'll transfer the owner to somebody else in the department. Well, I think there are a few of us are owners, and so that we can transfer all that information. So what I did just literally about an hour ago or an hour and a half ago was I went staff notebook in the team. Can you see that?
Can I just check, did it say staff notebook there already? Because that was the thing I was interested in.
Yes, it did.
So I think I've got a feeling that might have been something that was set up by your school to start with, because I don't think it necessarily would be there. So if it's not there, you've just got to click on the plus.
Yeah, so if
get
it's not
that way.
It's exactly that. You click on the plus and you'll get your notebook. And I just said, yep, staff notebook. And I opened it in the browser, first of all, and then I downloaded, I said, please open in the app. And here's the app. And I'm going to move everything over. And I don't know, would you like me to show you how I would move everything over?
I think that would be really good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my MFL department meetings. And so let's take my important information. So in my important information, I've got school dates, anything about exam dates, reporting, all that kind of stuff. It's just like a go-to place. So I'm actually going to just do a copy to start with, because I'm going to copy everything and then I'm going to close this notebook down, because I don't want my department to go along and suddenly say, where is it? So I clicked and I chose to move or copy. I chose the move or copy function, and then I'm going to go down to my new MFL department notebook, and I'm going to put it in the content library. So I'll just open that for a second. So I click on content library and I'm going to say copy. So now my important folder section that I've got here will be in my new notebook that I am making, my MFL department notebook, which is linked to the team, which means that I will never have this situation of my Surface blowing up and me not being able to access the information that I need. And there it is. All my important information is there, copied over. It's so clever and so easy, I think. So that's how I will do that. I'm going to do it bit by bit because I'm going to have a bit of a sort out as well. So the other thing that we've got, and I'm going to align to the team, again, this is a way that we collaborate as a department. We've got a work scrutiny notebook, because increasingly everything's online. We use a notebook like this, and I'll just show you the stuff that we've done to look at work. So sometimes we'll do it. So this is all my work. What we do is people go into each other's class notebooks, because we all have access to each other's teams. That's the way we've set it up. And so I can look in anybody's team at any time. Oh, this got somebody's name on there. If I just quickly delete those. So you can see the work. So people comment on what I've done and how I could improve. And we've done that for everybody. This is for a particular year group. So, we just go around and we go through and fill in the boxes. So we do that via year group, and then we also do via subject. So let's just see if I can find a good one. So we fill in, it's very simple. We have this really simple process, and we sometimes add extra notes. But the fact is that it's just all in one place and we can all access it at any one time. Is that sort of clear?
Yeah.
Is this what we're
And I'm looking on chat if anybody does want anything explained or anything. I know I'm just writing notes in chat of what you're doing, so that we've got a record of what
okay. Perfect. And also the other thing is, I keep an archive of all the minutes, and, just like you normally would. But the fact is, it's in this class notebook. So it's in our staff notebook, and it's all linked. It's all going to be linked to my team. So I've done it backwards. I've done it in a backwards way. Normally you'd have your MFL team and then you would open your staff notebook. So, I've made a mistake there. So the other way that we share as a department is we have year group resources. So we have a team for people who teach year 7, a team for all the people who teach year 8, and so on. So this is the year 13 notebook. Here we go. And again, it's just all sharing of the ideas or any work that we do. So, here we go. Things about webinars or anything that we create, we can share. And it's just a way of alerting people to what's going on. And the very last thing we, sharing duplicate forms so that I can easily just grab that and duplicate it for myself. And we've got these notebooks for all the year groups, and it just works swimmingly. It's beautiful. It just makes our lives easier. So people may be wondering whether we store all our worksheets and everything in files, but we don't really, because increasingly we're working on OneNote, And so we're now thinking of other ways of using those worksheets or embedding them into our class notebooks. And so what we do more regularly now is, instead of having all the documents in files, we actually use SharePoint for all our files. What we do now is share. So here you can see here, hello, Learn 5 resources. Not sure if this is of any use, but here's my lesson on un week-end parfait. So we just put direct links into the class notebook. And because we're all members of each other's notebooks, they will open for us very easily. So this is mine, but they would click on it and it would open up for them. And then they would right click if they liked it, copy, and then take it straight over to their own class notebook. So that's how we roll.
Okay, there's a question here as to when you're sharing resources. Vanessa asks, do you just put the links or do you actually share the PowerPoints themselves?
So PowerPoints, we would share the links from, we would open it online and we'd share the links, you know, from the cloud, from Office 365. As I say, we don't have, files. We don't store any files really in here. We use SharePoint for all of that.
And I think that's something which I particularly learned from you, Jane, about actually not using that files thing that you can see there, because you'll be sharing things somewhere else and then they're always available, aren't they, whatever happens.
I think what we use this for is as a place to discuss and to chat and to, you know, you can see here, you know, we're discussing grade boundaries and things like that, but also just because it's so, we're all about in the same place, you know, in terms of teaching. So we'll just share our most recent things. So it's just really easy to find, but we all know where all the other resources are in our SharePoint. But this is, you know, if you create something new, you chuck it in there. It just makes it easier and quick for everybody.
Sorry, can I quickly just say about sharing the page? I think just so people are clear, you can only share with people who are in that team.
Yes.
So if you're not each other member in each other's class, then it won't work. Because I think that's sometimes the problem when people are trying to share.
Julia's absolutely right. You have to be. So we are all members of each other's teams. And the good thing about that is, you know, so if I scroll down, you know, I can't understand the messages in the Arabic GCSE one very well, but, you know, I can see messages if there are any problems. So I can see what prep they're setting. So for me, for head of department, you know, it just allows me to see what's going on and see what prep they're doing and to see, oh, wow, you know, I really like this message here. My wife has cut out. I think that must be my Wi-Fi has cut out. So I was kicked out of the call. But so it's a really good little message. But I can see what's going on. And actually, I tell you what is really nice. So we often write nice little messages for the girls, because it's all girls' school, after the lesson saying, oh, that was brilliant. And, you know, I can sometimes see that. And then I can give them a little thumbs up as well. And they really love that, you know, to give a little praise from somebody else, I think is a really positive thing. So we are members of each other's teams, as Julia said. And for that reason, when I share a link to one of my pages, people can just grab it and take it. It's equally often on a Wednesday night, I know I've got to plan my Thursday morning lesson. No, I know that's terrible. Please don't beat me up about that. But I go straight away to my colleague's class notebook. And oh, wow, I love her so much. She's planned a lot of stuff straight away, and I can have a look and I will just take a few bits. And then sometimes I look and I go, oh, I've done that. So she's obviously done the same and come and taken things from me. So, right. But that's, you know, that just, it's a truly collaborative sharing situation in a way that I think we didn't have when we were just files and documents.
Vanessa was asking the question about if you share a link, what about if you want to modify the copy? And Julia has said that you can share it to be view only. That is an option.
Yes.
I suppose the other thing is, though, it may be that if, you know, I don't know, we have things shared where the date changes or there might be a mistake. So it's quite good that someone can correct that.
Yes. So you could share it and just give them viewing permission, in which case they'd have to download it and upload it, you know, download it rather, and then save it as their own. Or if they do want to change it, then they would have to save it as their own. But I think the thinking is there that if you save if you share a link to a PowerPoint or a document, that they're not going to change it. But the nice thing is if I were, for example, to take this work here, and I would just simply copy, paste it into my own page, then I can make as many changes as I want. It doesn't matter, because it will be on my page, and there would not be an issue. So for example, I'm going to copy that. I do all my work in my teaching notebook that I have, and all my colleagues have access to that teaching notebook, so they can just go in and see any of my pages and I've got all my sections. So if I just, so you can see I've got my year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, year 11, and so on, and all my colleagues have access to that. I've just taken a page from my colleague's class notebook. I'm just going to paste it down here, and then I'm going to just do what I want to it, really. You know, I'm going to scrap bits, get rid of that, whatever I want to do. I can just I can change the font and so on and so forth, and that will not affect my colleague's notebook. Are there any other questions? Or I mean, I don't know if this has been useful. I hope it's been useful.
Oh yes, definitely. People are seeing this. We haven't actually done this in these workshops yet.
Okay. So yeah, I think I've probably covered everything about a big department, really.
That's great. I know we've got Adeline is now here, and she's going to do something, and Jérôme has returned from being.
Hello, Jérôme.
And I think I've made you all.
I'm back.
Co-host, you're back. So are there any other questions for Jane? I think that really was helpful. Really, really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So shall I stop?
Okay. So that's fine. Yes. Thank you very much. Lovely. So should we go to Adeline for her examples as well, and then Jérôme afterwards with immersive read, if that's okay.
No problem at all.
Hi there. So hopefully I won't duplicate too much what Jane's just said. I have a much smaller department, so I was just going to show kind of which notebook you should set up for sharing. We have a departmental notebook that I can show. So we all that's where we put pages that we've done that we want to share, and then we can take pages from there. So if I share my screen, not the whole screen is fine. There we go. So this is the issue that I didn't really notice when. So my departmental notebook for French is this second one there, Professional Learning Community, PLC, and that's what gives you. So that's when you go to Teams, you have your departmental teams like Jane was showing. You create the notebook in Teams, just like you do for the class notebook, which Julia showed when we first started off. But you have to make sure it's your team that you've created before you do the notebook is a PLC team. Because I also teach English, and I decided that the English department should also have a shared notebook because it would be so much easier. So I said, I'll set it up. And I went and did that. And it turned out that the English department team was a staff team. And so it gives you a notebook, which is not really useful for sharing, because it's basically like a class notebook where the owner of the team, the main person responsible for the team, so I guess the head of department, can probably see everyone. I'm not even sure, but we ended up with a collaboration space and then all our own little notebook, which other people couldn't see. So I ended up setting up so we've got 2 English teams now, one where it's just the chatting one and the sort of, I did that with my year 7s, it worked really well. And one that's just for sharing resources, which has that type of notebook. So that's quite important because you can't change, as far as I know, you can't change the nature of a team once you've set it up. So that's the kind of notebook that we've got. So this is what our departmental notebook looks like. So we only teach French. I work in a prep school, and there's 5, 6 of us. but only 5 of us teach from year 5 onwards, which is when we use class notebook. So it literally is like a massive collaboration space, basically. There's no hierarchy in it. We don't have our own space in it, although we could create it, I suppose. We've just got year groups and then the topics that we're doing. And then in that, we then put all our resources. And like Jane showed, so we don't, I mean, as the head of department, I have access to everybody. I'm a member of everybody's team, but at the moment, we're not all members of all the teams. So this is where we put what we want to share, pretty much everything, basically. One of my colleagues now creates her resources in the notebook and then goes and sticks them in her own so that they're there. So whereas I tend to create my resources in my own notebook and then go and stick them in. And then when I want to take something, I would just go, I tend to do click right on the page that I want to take, and then I click move copy. And then at that point, this is within the MFL department notebook, or I can click this little arrow there, and then I have access to all my notebooks. And I think, well, I want to put that in my year 5 notebook, in my teacher only bit, in my Lent, and it's not food, but I'll just stick in there for now. And you would just click copy, and then it appears in there. And then, as Jane showed just now, you can then alter it, change it, make it look like, so we all have different styles. It's quite interesting to sort of see. I don't know if I need to find one with my, I think it's the year 7. There's 2 of us who do a lot of creating resources for everybody. And I end up often using, so we've got doubles of all of those, because this is my version of it, but then there's her version of it. So I always change the background color of my pages and have lines, whereas she just is happy with it white. So, and also I guess we have different sets. So sometimes we'd adjust for set purposes, so make it harder or easier or something like that. But you can see our different styles basically in our pages, but it's not, it's much less work changing it so it looks like you like it to look than actually creating the whole thing in one go. So this has been an absolute lifesaver. We're always very collaborative and we always shared a lot of resources, but this has been brilliant in terms of last lockdown. We decided we planned in blocks of 2 weeks, and someone would just plan all the year 5 lessons for the next 2 weeks. Someone else would plan all the year 6 lessons. This time, because we're more used to class notebook, we haven't done that as much, but we have used a lot of the resources. We've switched topics around, so we're using pages we've already got because it's all a bit more work at the moment. But we're still creating resources, and it's just really easy to move them to different. And then what I would do as well is this page. This is a page I created in last term, and you can see at the top here I've put a link which is for the teacher. I wouldn't have that in the page that I distribute for my students. It's a link to a Flippity quiz show on lots of verbs, and that's there because I created it to go with my lesson, and the teacher would be able to take that link and then delete it before distributing the page to their pupils. So you could, and we do sometimes, leave almost little notes for one another saying, I did this that way, or something like that, sort of helping make it work. And then we use the team chat much the way Jane was showing.
Before you go into the Teams chat,
I
wonder if you could slowly show how you move something from that notebook into another one.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's the bit that I know that sometimes I tend to forget how to do it, if that's right with everybody. And then there are other questions as well before we go into the teams.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I was just saying we do the same as Jane. I don't think I need to
right,
okay. again. So there's 2 ways really. You can either, so if I want that Michaelmas verb revision and to move it, at the moment I'm on that page, but I need to click on it again for that grey box to appear around it. And that's, I've selected the page. And at that point, you could just do Control-C, go to the page where the notebook you want to put it in, and do Control-V. But actually, I prefer to do, so you just click on it normally. You don't have to actually at that point have it highlighted. You just on it, you click right on the title of the page in the list of pages there, and you get this menu. And the one I use is the Move Copy. which I only discovered last term. I think I hadn't seen that before. And so you click Move Copy. And then at the moment, I'm still within my same shared notebook, and I don't want to move it within it. I want to move it to a different notebook. So I click that little arrow there. That then makes all my notebooks appear. So I have my own notebook, my departmental notebook, my year 5, my year 6, my year 7, my year 8. So say I want to put that in my year 8, so we can revise ER verb. And then initially I might just put it in my teacher only. So I'm going to click on that. And then I choose the section. So it's a grammar worksheet and it's about verbs. And then once you've got to the last folder, last divider, it gives you then the option to move it there, to copy it there, or to not do anything. So that's when you have to remember to click copy. Otherwise it will disappear from the shared notebook. It will literally move there. So you want to copy it. So I click that. And then you're still in the notebook. So then I'd have to click on my list of notebook there. And then I might not, I won't do that because it will show pupils, but I would then click onto my year 8 notebook, and I find it in the teacher only grammar verb section, which is where I've just moved it.
Mm-hmm. Great. And that's really good. And there are some questions. And am I right that you have to be in the desktop app to be able to do that? You can't do that when you're...
That's right, yeah. And one of my colleagues really, she initially was working only on within Teams, basically, class notebook within Teams. She took a while to get going with the app, and she couldn't move stuff around. So yeah, you have to be in the desktop app, as far as I know.
And I think, I mean, there are various questions about, can you share the pages outside your organisation?
No, I don't think so. No, you have to.
I mean, Jane has said it depends on your school. And I think, speaking personally now, I prepare everything in Word and then just paste it into here anyway. So it does mean that if I did want to share the content of something, at least you've got the... You can turn a
OneNote page into a PDF, I think, and you could share it that way. I haven't done that, but I'm pretty sure you can.
Yes, you can export it. And that, again, if you're in your desktop app, you go file and export. But in a sense, if you can just copy and paste it as it's more malleable if it's not a PDF, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So,
if you export, it does really work because it keeps the links and everything. So if you've got links in there, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Export as a PDF.
Export as a PDF.
Yeah, export as a PDF.
Yeah, but not as a Word doc, not as a...
No, not as you can export as HTML, but that's only available for people in your organisation. So
yeah, because basically if you do copy and paste it into a Word document, it will work and it takes all the links and everything. So and you can retain all of the... I mean, for example, I do all of the formatting in Word, and it's brilliant. You just copy and paste it into there, and it takes all the formatting with it, highlighting, colours, the lot. So there were some other more general things about this. Cheryl, you said Cheryl wants to open the mic to ask a question.
Yes, I believe that after lockdown is over, our kids will not be using, at least in my school, we won't be using OneNote anymore. And I'm hoping to print the documents that they've been working on so that they can stick it into their exercise books. The thing that I have a problem with is the page setup. There seems to be no way of setting the boundaries of your page within OneNote. And your page can be as big as you want it to or as small as you want it to, which means that the size of the font is variable. Has anybody found a workaround? I've been searching high and low for a workaround on getting something that is a standard A4 for OneNote. Any ideas?
I haven't tried that, but I can see that's the issue, because what I love about OneNote is that it gives you a massive unlimited page. But yes, I can see if you're trying to print it into a book. I mean, I try not to. Mostly my page do just go down like that. But then, yeah, sometimes we do use the site. So no, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else knows.
Well, I've exported some, and similarly, I tend to keep anyway. There's something about it I tend to keep into an A4 size, but I can't then make the page break when I want to. So
yeah,
at least it's something you can do if you want to. At least you can have a record of it. It's just not as neat. But
At
I
least
did try taking a Word document, blank Word document, and inserting it as a printout and setting it as a background picture and then putting everything over it, which is great, except when you start layering pictures on top and you send things to the back, it then goes behind that. So it's not a foolproof plan, but it does kind of work. I was just hoping anybody had any other
I
ideas.
guess the other option is to
Yeah.
do what Helen said she does and plan things in Word. Then you have the Word doc and then stick that Word document in. So either print it, insert it as a printout into the whole thing into your OneNote, or copy and paste the text and insert that into OneNote. That's probably your best bet, I would have thought.
there are two ways of helping us a little bit. So when you're in this version of OneNote, the Windows 10 one, if you go into view and set it to 100%, at least then you always got the same kind of width of the page, if you know what I mean, and you're less likely to kind of make it too big by mistake. So if you go to the symbol next to the magnifying glass,
Yeah.
the one that says 100, and then, because I always make that mistake that I start handwriting and I keep zooming in, and then my writing gets bigger and bigger and bigger or smaller. So that's a good trick to always make sure that you're on the same kind of distance. So your writing, typing or handwriting is the same size. And
But it sets
I know
width and
that
not length.
if you use OneNote 2016, so the other version, you can set the templates to a specific size. And I think you can have a template that's an A4 size. I need to try it out again to remember how to do it, but I'm sure I've seen it in the other version.
can you see Jane's comment there? The better version, do you mean, Julia? Rather than the other version?
The better version, yes. I do like the other. I do like 2016 as well. I do agree.
They're going to keep it. I think they'll keep it.
Yeah, I think it is good. Yeah.
I think we've probably copied that. Somebody said, can you copy a few pages at a time, which you can. It's just by selecting it.
Yeah, just select them all, I think, and move.
Or the Alt. So that's a very good question, because yes, where Jane is showing how she's moving things, that may well be that she'll want to move quite a few at a time. So I think we're ready for Esther and her breakout room. Is that all right, Esther? Or are you expecting that another time? You look surprised. We can't hear you at the moment.
Sorry, I was muting myself. No, it's okay. It's because I was listening what was saying Adeline and Jane about all the OneNote. It was like, and I was taking notes. That was.
Anybody who's got other questions, we sort of hang around afterwards. This is just so that people who want to get involved with the Twitter MFL chat at 8:30, we understand if people have to go. But okay, so thank you ever so much, Adeline, very much for that. And Esther, over to you for breakout rooms.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen. That's it. Okay. I hope you can see the PowerPoint.
We can.
Okay, fab. It's not the thing that I want. Oh gosh, it's like, I think that it's too many hours teaching. I just finished from teaching now.
Oh,
okay, it's because it was a strange day that I was covering someone else. I'm gonna show you slightly a few tips about the breakout rooms. And the thing that I'm gonna try to do as well, it's after that, open my Teams and try to show you a thing that it's called channels, because I saw a few days ago that it was on the Microsoft Teams group in Facebook and as well in Twitter, that some people was asking, well, if I have a teacher assistant that we need to move a part of the classroom with the teacher assistant because they need like set activities and other things, or maybe because you need to move because you have a split group that they doing one activity and the other and they go with another teacher, how you can doing this. One easy way to doing this is doing a channel. And I'm going to show you as well to do a channel that we can set as well on the Microsoft Teams. And the good thing, it's like we can set the channel previously. And after that, I'm going to show you how to join you, because we did already like last week at the university, a kind of like workshop to show another teachers how to use the channel. And I'm going to show you slightly how to do in this, that it's quite easy and it can help to do as well to do other activities. Okay. Okay. First things, for example, it's like nowadays it's I'm going to show you what they have Microsoft Teams as well in mind in few weeks. That could be few weeks or a couple of months or maybe 3 months, but it's this kind of thing like it's coming. We're going to do this this thing or this other thing. Okay. And the thing, for example, it's like 5 things. It's that only the meeting organizer can start the breakout rooms. Okay. Just the meeting organizer. It's one of the things that they want to sort it out, that we're gonna be able to do someone as a co-host as we can do on Zoom, that nowadays it's not possible. Okay. After that, the person that is going to do the breakout room needs to have the last version of Teams and as well needs to have it on its desktop. It's like it has to be like on the desktop client, not on the browser option, because if we're using on the browser option, after that, we are not going to be able to open the breakout room. We are not going to be able to join this and to settle them. Okay. The thing is, the participants can join the breakout room using any team application, but as well, it's recommended as well that they use the desktop client option, because some students, when they use the phone, they have some issues when they have to join the breakout room. Okay. Not for tablets, but yes, for phones. Okay. And after that, just the icon for the breakout room organizer, the breakout room appears on the meeting organizer. And as well, if you want, imagine that we have for one day someone that is invited to join us one of the lessons because it's going to help us in one activity. That person as well can join one breakout room because we invite that person with the link in order to join the session that we have in Teams. ¿De acuerdo? All right. It's like too many hours teaching Spanish. Okay. Okay. What else? That's the icon that we have to join the breakout room. That's the one, that's the icon that it's going to do the magic in order to split our classroom in different small rooms, that we will be able to put our students to do different activities as if we want to replicate how they were our lessons, okay, before going to the lockdowns. Okay, that it's like, and remember that it's in between the raise hand icon plus the 3 dots, and that's the icon that we will be able to set the breakout rooms. But remember to join the desktop application, not the browser, because on the web browser we will not be able to see this one. All right. What else we have over there? You can choose to assign automatically the rooms or assign manually the rooms. You can choose with these 2 ways. What we are not able to do yet in Zoom, you are able, if we want, that I don't normally recommend it, that if we know exactly how many people it's going to join that group, we can assign the breakout rooms previously, and we have them set and record before joining the meeting. Teams doesn't leave to doing yet. It's on the homework list from Teams that they said in one meeting that they will be doing this, but it's not able yet. In Zoom, yes, but I don't normally recommend to settle the breakout rooms before, because any of the students, I don't know, it's like could be ill or maybe doesn't join that day the lesson. Okay. And okay, I see that someone says that doesn't see the full screen. I think the other people can see the full screen. You are on mute, Helen.
Maybe there's a bit of confusion. Just no, we can definitely see it.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
But almost if we just pause on that, because if people can't, it's sometimes because you've done a little bit of a toggle on the view at the top. So if you sort of twiggle at the top, it says view. You can choose standard, side-by-side gallery, swap video and shared screen. And sometimes that's what somebody's clicked, which means that suddenly you lose the screen. So if you do a bit of toggle, and then if there's still a problem, just open your mic and we'll pause and help you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Helen. And the thing that we can do, it's like assign, for example, automatically, or assign manually. For example, assign manually or assign automatically the room. The thing it's like, for example, that Janet is asking about if I know why sometimes you get the opportunity to assign automatically and sometimes not. One of the things that we need to do, it's like when we're going to create the breakout rooms, it appears the 3 dots, and I'm going to show you in another slide that there's one way to see that we can assign automatically or manually. I'm going to show you later, okay? But it's supposed that we should to have the both options. Just in case that, for example, maybe we forget or something like that, there's another way that we can recatch this one, for example, in that case. After that, the organizer view, when we're going to set the breakout rooms, for example, imagine that we want to divide our room, for example, in 4 breakout rooms. We can do on this way, okay? When we go to open, okay, we leave the chance to our students, when we click open, that they go to the breakout room, okay? They're gonna be sent to the breakout room, okay? In that moment as well, we can click open and join really quickly the breakout room and start the recorder. We back to the room 2 and we do the same thing and we press start the recorder. Why I'm saying this? Because we're going to be able to record all the breakout rooms, even if we are not on the 4 breakout rooms. That's for me one thing that shows the difference with Zoom. Zoom just leave us recorder the breakout room when we are inside the breakout room. Teams leave to us the chance to record each breakout room. That it's really good for most of the schools, talking about the etiquette, that some schools, they are worried about, we leave the students alone. It's like, no, because you just set the breakout room just for the time that you will do the activity. You are not going to leave 1 hour the breakout room open. It's like the activity could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You move into the breakout rooms, you control what's happening on the breakout rooms, okay?
I just say that is brilliant advice, because you're right. So many people have been asking that and you've now given us the answer.
Okay, good. No, it's because it's one of the things that sometimes we don't realize. For example, I don't have the problem, because I'm teaching in higher education, to record each breakout room in for some kind of like security things. But for example, sometimes I want to record each breakout room because I know that sometimes we all have some of the naughty students that they don't speak on the target language. And it's like, you don't doing the things that it's supposed that you should to do. And as well, it gives us the chance that sometimes people say, how I can give the feedback about the activities that the students are practicing on the speaking in each breakout room. You record the breakout room. Those breakout rooms, when we close the breakout rooms, stops the record. That's a fantastic thing. And that record goes to the chat. And after that, you can listen. And later on, you can record an audio feedback if you want, or an auto feedback. And after that, you just put the feedback to each student notebook from that breakout room, for example. And you say to them, oh, well done, things like that. Or you can put an emoji and other things. But for the feedback, I'm going to leave like Esmeralda, that she's going to do in a couple of weeks about the feedback. But that's a good thing. You can record this one. You have the activity, the speaking activity, record directly on each chat of the breakout room. That's the good thing. You don't have to think about, okay, I'm going to send the link for the flip grip, or I'm going to say to them, record yourself in Buckaroo and things like that. No, you record the breakout room, job done. You don't have to thinking about set another kind of app in order to do that job. You have already this. And after that, the good thing is the chat is saved on the like team meeting room. And after that, it's like, if you want, you can download and save it on your shared drive. Or if you don't use it in 20 days, disappears. But at least it's been saved those days there. Okay.
I say this is really good advice. We're doing a webinar tomorrow about how we can do speaking and finding out how they interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be a way you can do it. I mean, obviously there are other ways in which you can get people to talk to each other and you can record it, but this is just seems to be a real no-brainer on being able to do it. So
yeah, because I think that it's quite good, this one, because for example, before I was doing normally the breakout rooms in Zoom. What you have to do in Zoom, if you record, if you want to practice in the speaking, yes, you're doing, you have to trust your students that sometimes they are quite naughty, because always, wherever you try it, you always find someone, not every week, but time to time, you find someone that doesn't use the target language. And after that,
it's definitely persuaded us now.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that sometimes like they know exactly you've been recorded. You have to do the things that your teacher says you need to do this and that for your activity. And even if it's not like a speaking activity, even if you want to see if they doing the things that they should to do in their whiteboards, or for example with a shared document and things like that, you can record everything, because after that they know that they couldn't behave badly because all it's recorded. They have to be nice one to each other. It's one of the things that helps to decrease the level of bad behavior as well, that sometimes we are worried.
Helen said that she had a problem once being able to join one of the great breakout rooms. Would there be a reason for that?
With the breakout rooms, the thing is, for example, if the student use the phone, it's the thing that I said, they have problems to join the breakout rooms because
Sorry, no, it was the teacher couldn't. So
the
Helen
teacher to join the breakout rooms.
So is it
if
that they somehow were able to mute her or kick her out?
The thing it's like, if you want to mute, for example, the students on the breakout room, you have to settle that you have to be.
Sorry, no, it's not that. No, the question, Helen, I don't know if you want to open up your mic, but you're saying you had the issue. Helen could herself, as the teacher, having set up the breakout.
Yeah, I managed to create the rooms and join a room, but usually at the end of it, there's I think it says rejoin or something like that, and that just wasn't there, and it happened to me twice. So I ended up having to restart the whole team, and it was just hopeless.
No, no. It's sometimes it's happened when you close the rooms. After that, you could be kicked out literally from your meeting. What's the thing? When you always have teams, when you join the meeting, always appears the main screen, and you have like a super screen that it's the teams as well, that you can see the chat if someone's post on the chat, etc., etc. What's happened when you close all the breakout rooms? Maybe you can be out from your team. How you can rejoin? You go to this under the screen that you have on your teams when it's open, because we always has the both screens, okay? And you rejoin the meeting. Job done. It's like, I know that sometimes we can feel scared, but don't panic. Okay, it's like you close the rooms, you are out, and you go back to click the meeting, job done, and you come back to say hello to your students. It's just 1 second, 2 seconds. But of course, the first time that it's happened, it's like, oh gosh, where is my meeting? Where are my students? We are like in a problem that it's like, oh gosh, what's going on? And maybe we close all the meeting for everybody. It's like, cool brain, calm down. You go again to the first route. You come back to join the meeting, and you come back to say hello to your students. And you just had 1-2 seconds that you weren't there, or maybe they even don't notice.
Is that the thing? Because Helen, from my reading, it was to do with the individual breakout rooms that you could not go into.
The thing it's like in
it wasn't that I couldn't join the breakout room, but once I couldn't rejoin the main room at the end of the break. People are putting in the chat that did seem to be an issue on Friday.
But the thing it's like, it's you that you have to call your students close the breakout rooms and they join because you call them to go to the main room. Because if you don't set previously that the students, they can go back to the main room, they will not be able to back to the main room if you don't settle at the beginning, that I'm going to show you now as well.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know if it helps, because the thing is, like, Teams, when after you know how to use it, they are quite handy. For don't say it's really handy, the breakout rooms. But the first times that you use the breakout rooms is like, why they are not too intuitive. And sometimes they are quite a way to say, is like, why it's not easier to see what I'm doing, for example, on Teams. Okay. What else we have, for example? What we have, for example, on the settings, what we have, you can rename, for example, a breakout room, for example, okay? And for example, imagine that you have room 1, room 2, and you want to put a name to the rooms. You can change the name, okay? It's like, you choose this one, you press here, and after that, you rename. You press the 3 dots and you rename the room, okay? After that, what you can do as well, you can leave to the participants the option to go back to the main room or not. That's one of the things that we need to do at the beginning, because if we don't press that we allow to our students to back to the main room, it's us that we need to close all the rooms and they're going to be called to the main room. They're going to have like 20 seconds, and even if they don't like it, they're going to pierce to the main room, okay? And in that process, meanwhile, they are back to the main room. Maybe as we lost the connection to go back to rejoin the meeting, don't panic. Go to the previous meeting, join the meeting, and you come back to be with your students, okay? And what else we have, for example, here, okay? What we have, for example, we can rename and start a breakout room. That's the thing that I told you. For example, we have here the room, we press the 3 dots, and we can rename the room. Imagine that you want to rename the room in order to put a name for the activity that they're going to do. Or imagine that you want to put another room. If it's not, leave room 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we don't complicate our life, for example. Okay? What else we have as well? If we want to leave ready to leave the breakout room and return to the main room, okay, we have to go, for example, to select more options, okay? They have to press join the room, okay? Select return, and after that, the students, they're going to be ready to go up and down. If it's not, it's us that we need to close all the rooms, and after that, they're going to be forced to join the main room. Maybe we don't want that the students, they can go and back to the main room because they kind of starts to moving. Maybe we don't want this. That's one of the things. For me in higher education, I leave to them the chance to join the main room, because when they finish the activity, they can join the main room, because I'm going to help the others. But sometimes with the high schools, maybe we don't want that we're doing this. Okay, you couldn't prepare this one before the students arrive. You have to rename in the rooms, sadly, until Teams doesn't sort it out, that they are on the main to sort it out, because maybe in between a month and 2 months, we're going to be able to preset the breakout rooms. Meanwhile, we are not able. The only way that we will put different names and join the things, it's doing channels that I'm going to show you how to do it. But we have to wait in between 1 and 2 months in order to set the breakout rooms with the students, preset the rooms, or even if we want to preset empty rooms, as you can do in Zoom, and put the name in this one. And after that, when the students arrive, you assign manually to each room. But we need to wait a few weeks more to doing this. Okay, what else we can do, for example? Another thing that we can do, I can chat with each room, or I can do an announcement. And if I'm doing an announcement, every breakout room has the same message, for example. Okay, I can go, for example, when I have the tablet the box that says breakout rooms, I press the 3 dots again, always the key is on the 3 dots, okay? 3 dots and make an announcement, and all the students, they have the same message, okay? If not, I can see, for example, each room, what they saying in each chat on each room. And I can, for example, text in one chat if I want, and not to all of them. If I want to chat with all of them, make an announcement. And if I see that, for example, I share a document and I see that one of the rooms, they are not doing too many things, you can chat to them and say, come on, guys. Do I have to join your room because I'm in room 2? Do you want that I'm coming back to you? And things like that, okay? And you can have a look what is happening on each chat, for example. And if one of the rooms wants to chat to us, they can put as well something to us, okay? What else we have, for example? We can add an extra room or decide like, look, I'm going to move, for example, imagine that we have some kind of disruptive students, or one day we think like, okay, maybe it's too challenging and I was too optimistic that they could do that, that activity 3 each one, but maybe I think that it's better if each room has 5 students. You can move the students to the other room and close another one. And for example, imagine that I want to close the room number 2. I go to the 3 dots. Again, the magic is the 3 dots. The key is the 3 dots. Press the 3 dots, delete the room. Bye. Because I assigned the students, I move the students to another room and I leave them out. And what's the good thing? When I'm going to close the rooms, all the history from each individual chat, it's going to be saved. Okay. If I'm recording each breakout room, it's going to be saved. And if I send any file to any chat in particular, because you can send an extra file to one chat and not the others, it's going to be recorded. And as well, the things that we will doing as the announcements as well, they're going to be recorded. Okay. What else we have here, for example? If I'm doing this, if I'm going to settings, okay, I'm not too sure if I will want to do this if I was teaching in primary or secondary school. Okay, that, okay, I press the 3 dots, always the key, they are the 3 dots. If you go to room settings, after that, you have to have this one press in purple that says that automatically the participants, you can move the participants to the rooms. When you open the rooms, you don't ask to them, join the room as we have to do in Zoom. No, no. You automatically send them, like it or not, you are in the room. You don't have to do like, for example, like in Zoom that you say, please, Helen, can you join your room number 1 that you didn't join yet? La, la, la. No, that one, boom, automatically you've been sent to the room. If I was you, primary and secondary school, I will not press this one because after that the students can back to the main meeting. I will not do this one. What's the good thing? That has, for example, automatically moved the participants to the rooms. When I close the rooms, I send all the students to the main room, but I'm going to be kicked out from the meeting. I have to come back to join the meeting quite fast, but because they're going to take 2 or 3 seconds to arrive to the main room, I'm back to the meeting. Not always happen, because don't ask me why. We did some of internal kind of like training at the university, and sometimes we were kicked out, sometimes not. When you've been out from the meeting, don't panic, because you always has in a kind of shadow way the second screen that you can see the chat history from the room. Don't panic. Go to the calendar. You can join from there or from the meeting. That's it. No worries at all. And you back at the same time as your students. Not always going to be out, you. But if sometimes happen, you have the solution here. Because I remember that, for example, it was happening to me in one of the trainings that I was doing at the university. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm saying to them how to use and join the breakout rooms. And now I'm out from the meeting, how I'm going to do it. I was like in panic mode. I was like, ah, and luckily it was someone else that was on the meeting that, you know, had my phone and says, don't panic, go to this shadow screen and rejoin that one. That sometimes it's really handy have someone from the IT when you're doing some internal trainings, that it was like in this panic mode, I had that tip. If it's happening this, don't panic, you can rejoin really quickly and you're gonna arrive fast as your students.
So you were saying, so really to summarize, if you get kicked out, you can go to the team and join from the message there, or just go directly to your calendar and it'll say join there. And just one thing Jane asked about how you could monitor the chat in each of the rooms, because we had a screenshot of it, but I think I missed as well how you could see those, how you could access that.
For example, when you go to the chat for see the chats, each breakout room it's gonna have a chat. What's the thing how we can see this one? I'm gonna try to move my teams to the first screen. Just a second.
If you need me to stop recording and start again, if there's an issue with names, I can.
Yeah, it's some names from the university. If you want, you can
so
pause.
Should I just pause while you show us this bit then? Just so, yeah. So
yeah, because I minimize the teams.
Right.
Okay. And this part, we saw it. Okay. For the channels, what we can do with the channels. Okay. I settle one meeting and what I can do, for example, you can see that here, for example, with one training that we did previously, we created a team that it was called Breakout Rooms 9:30 because we were doing like some kind of training, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, things like that. And we create one separate team with the icon of the breakout room for that training in order to see the channels, okay? What we have, for example, here we have the general one that it's like the meeting that we have at 9:30, that everybody is at 9:30. And after that, I settle on settings, again, the 3 dots on settings, I create a channel. And on the channel, that's the magic. I can assign the students in advance. But what's happening in that channel? When I put on the channel, you couldn't move on the channel. Why I recommend the channel for the assistant teacher, for example. Or if you work in a project, imagine that we work with projects and each channel has one project, for example. After that, I don't know, we can put like present perfect channel. And after that, it's like present continuous channel, subjunctive channel, I don't know, or maybe different topics that we want that, for example, one of each channels or one of each team, at the end of 2 or 3 weeks, they do a mini presentation in front of the other classroom. We can set the channels. Why? Because after that, we send to those channels in order to work, for example. Or if it's not the other thing, imagine that we have one group that needs some help with the assistant teacher. What we're doing, we put as a leader from the channel, the assistant teacher, that she's going to be the one that has the power to share the screen and sort it out if she wants to mute someone and things like that. We put her or him as a leader. And after that, we say the students that they have to go to that channel. And after that, the teacher, it's going to call them, join the channel. And if the student doesn't go, after that, we can send them. Okay, because we can do the same thing as we did with the breakout room, that they can join automatically, or at the moment that I say join the channel, even if they acting like, oh, I didn't listen anything, in 30 seconds, like it or not, they're going to appear on the channel and say, hello, the assistant teacher, for example, or the channel leader in that case. And for example, the thing that we did on that training, it was like set 4 channels, and the name of each channel, it was the person that was the leader on that channel, for example. And the thing that we did, it was like we gave instructions to them to say, okay, it's the channels, they acting exactly as a breakout room. What's the difference? That, for example, as the person that we set the meeting, we are the ones that we are able to set how many channels we want to set and which people we want that it's on the channel and who we want that it's the leader on that channel, because we assigned that someone that it's going to be able to share the screen and manage the settings. And it's going to be the one that says to the students, back to the main room, and it's going to send to the main room the students. Because imagine that we want to split the group for a few minutes, for example.
Just one point is that you're not showing us full screen at the moment. You're still you're not in presentation mode. But can I just check then? So what you've done here is you've created a team called 9:30 Breakout Rooms Workshops. That's
Yeah,
the
because
team.
yes, that
And
team,
then it's
it was
within that team then that you've created these channels.
Yeah, because for example, imagine that you have one team that it's I don't know, year 7, for example, and imagine that there's fewer students on year 7 that they need, for example, to go with the assistant teacher in that case. And you're gonna create a channel for the year 7 team.
Yeah, and I think that's okay, because I was just seeing about how almost is this idea that you can actually create a team for the meeting that you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
Channels within it. That was what I was getting.
Yes,
really.
exactly.
I can understand why you'd need it, but I had never thought of creating a team for the activity. I've always been thinking of having, well, I've got my normal team. I ought to do everything within that team. But what you're saying is that we could create a team just for that activity.
Yes, just for these ones. Imagine that you want to create a team that you think is like, okay, I want that they work in that project and there's a part that they need help with an assistant teacher, or they need to keep an eye or something like that. You create like a sub team, as if you want to say, just for those channels, for example. Or if you already have, for example, year 7, for example, you have 3 groups and you have like one team for each group of year 7, you can create the channels if you have the different groups. If it's not, one of the things that we did on that training, it was like creating just like a team for these kind of channels. And after that, we didn't mess around with these channels. And the thing is like, it's a way that you can work in projects, because the people can still chat one to each other on the channel. What's the difference? No one can see what they put on the channel, but you, as the person that creates all the channels, you can monitorize everything. Again, you have like all the power, as if you want to say, for example,
what we need.
You control it, you know, because it's one of the things that you need. And one of the things, for example, the person that is on the channel, the leader on that channel, can decide if you want to record or not. That's why I'm saying that, for example, channels, they are really good for teaching assistants, or if you have, for example, an A-level group that you can trust them and they work for a project, for example. If it's a regular group, regular breakout rooms, you set the record and you record everything at the same time, and you sorted out behavior issues. Channels, I think that it's better if it's, for example, even the channel, it's good if you want to work with different subgroups on the department as well, for example.
Yeah. So really,
I will say
within the channel, you can then have your meeting within that channel, and that can be recorded separately. So that might be something you do rather than having breakout rooms. And I can, yeah, that's good. Is everybody all right on that one? And then, I mean, I'm just aware of time. I don't know if people have to go. I do understand.
But if you want, it's like after that, it's like more or less, it's the things that I told you, that you can be able to pre-configure breakout rooms in maximum a couple of months, and put multiple meeting organizers. That it means that you can put 2 or 3 hosts and even co-host. That's a good thing that Zoom live to do, but not Teams. And after that, sharing the meeting content from the breakout rooms, okay, back into the main room. What's the meaning of this? That, for example, in Zoom, you can, for example, broadcast everybody and you can share files. But for example, not in Teams, you must to send just before the meeting, just before to send to the breakout rooms, or individually to all the breakout rooms, because when you broadcast, you're just being able to broadcast, not send files, for example. And if with this, I can finish, or after that, if you want, I can explain you like few tips, what you can do or activities that you can do inside the breakout room. It's up to people.
Probably, as we've been going for an hour and a half, perhaps if we save that, because I think that people would like to hear that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And people might have to go now. So
Yeah.
that's been just fantastic. And I realised, poor old Jérôme, we left you out in the cold with the
Oh gosh.
No, it's all right. No, I'd
You
messaged
don't worry,
messaged
it's
Jérôme, and
absolutely
we'd
fine.
already had we've got a backup, haven't we, Jérôme?
It's all good, no problem.
If you're okay, that we could have that perhaps as our beginning to our PowerPoint.
I think it's going to be too many things to say in the PowerPoint. Maybe another time.
All right,
We'll keep it in
another
the fridge for some time, in the freezer.
Okay.
I'm really sorry, Jérôme.
Oh, no,
Don't worry, it's not your fault at all. It was brilliant what you did anyway. It was fantastic. So
Yeah, that
well
was
worth it.
really good. So thank you to everyone. If you want to open up your webcams, that would be lovely. Just to say thank you ever so much to everybody. Really, really good. And I'd like to take another little picture of us, if that's all right. Great to see you. And right, here goes. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. Nice little picture. Oops, let's go over there. Lovely. And I think, yeah, I mean, if people have got particular questions, that's fine. But really, I think probably we're all going to meet up again, aren't we, on Jérôme? Is that all
Monday.
right? Next Monday?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We're going to have our PowerPoint party. So
PowerPoint party, yeah.
you can wear hats if you like.
Why not? Why not?
Can I ask a question, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Right. So we've embedded, like from last week, it's very exciting. So we're very excited. We embedded all the PowerPoint, like our pages were beautiful and, you know, like really nice. However, today, every student, hi, miss, the link doesn't work. So when they view it onto Teams, the link doesn't work. So that gives them like the PowerPoint doesn't actually, well, it's embedded, but it's like a gray sign with an arrow. And then they can see it in the app though. But then not all our students are working on the app because depending on their device. Or so why the embedded PowerPoint link doesn't work like on the class notebook via Teams? Do you have the answer or not?
So did you, well, Julia, you might want to join in, but did you put the PowerPoint into your OneNote, your own OneNote?
Yeah.
And share it from there?
Well, then we distribute it via Teams. So our students get an assignment which where we attach a page, a OneNote page, and then we tell them to then open it and work via the app. And the majority do, but not all of them. So the one who directly works into Teams on their class note, the link wouldn't work. But because link is well, Teams is linked with OneNote, we didn't preempt that issue.
But they should be still able to just open the PowerPoint in the web browser.
Yeah, but that asks them to sign in, and then they click, but actually
they need to sign in, because if you're sharing it only within your organization, because it's saved on your school OneDrive, I guess, not on your personal one.
Yeah.
So only people from your school will be able to access it.
Mm-hmm.
So they will need to sign in if they need to use it. So if they're using it from within OneNote, maybe it recognizes their account. But if they're using it in a standalone browser, I guess they then need to sign in. And it did not work when they signed in with their school address.
Yeah, it did work, but the people who directly work onto Teams, which is not a majority, but there are a few. Well, they were not even given the opportunity to sign in. It was like a gray box.
Some of them, just say something. I said to them, open in the app, because where it says edit in app or edit in browser at the top, some of them going, I don't even have that option to open and edit it somewhere else. So I didn't really know how to help them.
Yeah, they need to download OneNote. I think it's just not installed on their computers.
Okay.
If they're on a PC, so they just need to download it. I mean, they can just download it for free if they just Google like OneNote.
Well, our trust gives them access to the whole Microsoft package. So if they are a student of, they can access. But I think it's hard to troubleshoot remotely because, like now,
I mean, what you did was embed the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still give them the link to the PowerPoint, you know, when you go into your files and then say share.
But
maybe
that's why we
put that link next to it, and then they should be able to at least access it this way.
Yeah, because when we embedded it,
Yeah, when we embedded it, the link was above actually, and I removed it, and Becky did the same because it was pretty to not have the link. But then I think we're gonna need to leave that link.
Well,
I deliberately always put in click here for the PowerPoint, and I just put the link to the SharePoint PowerPoint so that there's always that as a backup. Because yeah, I do know what you mean, because that's, I mean, on my own version as well, there's something at the moment, there's a blip in my computer that when I click on it, I have that problem as well. So I can see that there is that, but by always having, I mean, for me, right at the top of every OneNote page, I always say, any problems with any of this, all of these are individually stored here. So I've even got the Word document of the OneNote, so that if there's some problem, almost it's just, if you've created the thing anyway, you might as well put that in your SharePoint and they can get it that way.
Thank you.
That's a pity. I was all looking forward to that. Good news.
No, but we were super excited, and it is beautiful, and for the majority of students it does work. It's just like we were very happy yesterday to have embedded that. So yeah, it is much easier as well to, you know, put your lesson in, all the links are in. It was so much quicker. So yeah, so thank you, it was really
good. Right, so thank you again ever so much to Adeline. I know that Jane had to go as well, but it was really, really good. I mean, I don't know about other people, I definitely learned things. I thought there were things that I knew about that I obviously didn't know about. And Esther, yours really was a total eye-opener, because I knew nothing about that. And that's really why I think, in a way, I feel I could see you've got more things to share, and that it would really benefit lots of people to see those things, I think. But I think we're all going to, well, I'm going to be going away and playing with the things you've already told me about. There's something a bit scary about Breakout, isn't there?
Yeah.
I feel that when I've done it here in Zoom, there's a, ooh, what's going to happen? So your bit about, you know, don't panic.
No, don't. No, because the thing is, like, the first times that you're doing is like, suddenly it's like, oh gosh, where are all the students? Oh, I'm going to join in this, and how I'm doing that. Because in Zoom, it's, I have to recognize that it's more intuitive when you do the breakout rooms and everything. Teams not, but at the same time, it's more secure after that. When you join a couple of times, why I would recommend you, maybe, like, I don't know, set a meeting with 3 or 4 members of the staff, and you're doing this, like, you say a mistake and you're doing like, okay, now it's okay, now I'm feeling confident, I can do this, I can do that. And even if you want to do, I don't know, like a channel or share a document, see if it works, like, for example, because lots of times I'm sending, for example, a document from the SharePoint. After that, I can see when if the students, they are doing the things at the same time or not. And I can text you on the chat. It's like, hey, I seen that it's not funny what you're doing, or it's not nice, and things like that. You can control these. And after that, you can save that document as well on the collaborative space or on each OneNote for the students, or etc. But
there are definitely things there.
I realize that sometimes it's scary. The first time that you have to do it, like, but you can do lots of things.
Well, and I mean, definitely that idea of being able to see their chat, because in Zoom, when I've done Zoom breakouts, I've thought there's no way. I mean, for example, with Joe and others, sometimes I haven't meant to send the presenter into one of the breakout rooms, and I have, but I've got no way of getting in touch with them. I've got to depend on them to, you know, I could do a message to everybody, but whereas that thing that you showed us about the fact, well, actually all the chat is there for you to see. That's really good.
Can I say, Esther, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When one of the problems, I mean, I don't know if it's something to do with my school, because we are not using Teams properly. I think already said that we are not in Teams, the kids are like guests kind of stuff. What is happening in some classes, which is very, very annoying, the kids get kicked out completely of the room instead of being transferred to the breakout room, which it is so annoying, because your lesson, you know, goes basically, out to the window. And so basically, to the point, I'm now using Zoom when I want to have a breakout room lesson, because I don't trust it, basically. I don't know if there's any reason why that happens. Not all of them. And sometimes it's not the devices, because sometimes some students get kicked out with the same device, and another lesson they don't. So yes, basically everything seems fine, and they just, the kids disappear. And then you need to rejoin to the main meeting. You try to join them, but they can never join the breakout room. So they waste their time waiting,
Yeah.
and it's very frustrating, especially when you got a class of 24.
Yeah, no, I could understand, because it's quite frustrating when they are kicked out. After that, you have to come back to rejoin them on the main room. And after that, it's you that you have to move to the breakout room. They couldn't do on their own. Sometimes it's happening this if they don't sign from, if they click, you know, that you can copy the link and they can join the meeting. They have to sign the app and go from the app browser. I will say that the best and safe way to doesn't happening anything when you are on the breakout rooms, it's that they join from the Teams organization. But if you don't have set the Teams as an organization, sometimes could happen that you don't know why out of the blue they are out, and it's really annoying. I can understand. If you don't have settled properly the Teams and you don't have on the Teams organization, I will recommend do on Zoom and job done. And one of the things that you can do if you want, that we've been having a look a couple of weeks ago at the uni, is that you can embed on your Teams or on your OneNote the link for the Zoom meeting, and they don't have to go to different devices if you want, because
What
you
do you
can
mean?
put
Sorry, go on.
the thing. It's like, for example, you know that when you do like a Zoom meeting, that it has like a kind of code, the password and the username. You can embed these on their Space Collaborative or on your OneNote.
Oh yes, that's what I'm doing at the moment, because it's always what I'm doing at the moment is I'm using, and I'm hoping because obviously every time I create a meeting, it's like a completely different meeting. So what I'm trying to do now to save me time as well is I put it in OneNote, so the kids go to the collaborative area and they are now they go to the same room. So hopefully, I'm hoping. I mean, I'm gonna try again this week. I'm very experienced. The problem is I'm trying to use Zoom, but I'm being naughty. School doesn't allow us to use Zoom. So I'm doing it out of basically because I really want to do oral practice. It's like I don't care. So I tell the kids, don't say anyone that we're in Zoom. But it works